everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm going to say some stuff about college today. So I'm new to college. I can't say I have that much experience because I obviously do not. I just started my second semester and it's really exciting because I'm done with high school. Now, I can't say too much about college because I am just a baby to it. I've only did one semester so far and I just started my second, which is my spring term. But I have found out a few things that would help in the process of it. Or at least some things to ease the mind of people. Now, one of the first things I'm gonna say is that the first 2 weeks when you start meeting people and you meet your professors and you read the syllabus, that is the most important 2 weeks. Personally, I feel like that is when everything is gonna be decided. You learn about your professor or the course itself. It is when you're gonna meet most of the people that you're gonna be friends with that term. And it's where everyone is nervous, everyone has no idea what's gonna happen or what they're gonna learn. So it's easy to talk to people in that state. I'm a big fan that if you're shy and you worry what people think about, to just go ahead and talk to people the first week, at least like something common. Everyone's sharing the same doubts in their mind and it's something that never changes. Whether in college or high school, the first few weeks are the hardest because you're starting over. You have to get used to this new schedule, to these new people surrounding you. Something simple and that I think every icebreaker in college has is, what is your major? That's something so easy to start off with speaking to someone, and it's also very interesting because we're all here for different things. But then again, I also want to mention how if you don't have a major, if you don't have anything decided so far and you're just in general studies, that don't worry. Don't worry too much. Obviously, I hope you have a decent idea, have your options open before you finish that general studies because you do want to move on. But don't freak out if what you think you're in isn't going to serve you in life because you can change it. There are ways of changing it. There is time. You may have wasted a few class or credits, but in the end, it's not the end of the world and you will be able to find something that you actually enjoy. One of the things I usually tell my friends is that who actually uses their degree after? Some people don't use it at all. They get it and that's good enough and they end up doing other things. Or sometimes there's just not enough positions in that career field. And that's fine. I think that you need to have an open mind that college is a learning experience in all the senses. You are going to meet new people, you are learning how to be an adult and be able to do your own things. But in the end, it's just school and it might serve you, it might help you, the courses might teach you a lot of things, it might show you something new that you want to do, but in the end, it is not the end of the world. You will find something you like, you will find a job, or you can keep working for that. You can always go back to school. There's never a time that you can't. You might get busy or you might not have enough money at the time, but the option is there. And if you want it, and if you find a way to be able to access it, you can. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't make any friends the first few weeks that you're not gonna have friends at all. No, of course you will. The group work helps and everything. So I feel just be open-minded to people who talk to you. They just want to have someone. Exchange numbers as fast as you can because I don't know about 98% of my classmates usually, so it'd be hard for me to ask questions to people I don't know or don't have their number to. Another factor about college is that you're gonna be hungry. A lot. Probably all day. But it's gonna come at weird times, and at least that's my personal experience. I don't eat in the morning, so I usually take a lot of snacks so that I can get through the class, and hopefully I can eat after the class if I have any time. But lunch is also very, very important. If you have a day filled with classes, you need to find time to eat, or you will be distracted during the day. Another tip that I have is about books. So a thing about college is that books are super expensive and there's a lot of things you don't end up using. There's a lot of books that you don't actually need in the end and some professors don't tell you until later. But a lot of people make the mistake of buying their books beforehand. Obviously, I've only did 2 semesters, but both semesters I waited till I had all my classes. So once I've seen every professor and had that class at least once, and the first week they go over the requirements, what books you're actually gonna need, what materials you're actually going to need, not just what they're going to tell you or sell you at the store that you're buying it. You save a lot of money and time when you do this because you don't have to go, first of all, spend the money and then have to wait in line also to return the books, because it gets hectic the first few weeks, at least at my college it does. And there's lines and lines and you don't want to waste time. So just wait a little bit, make sure you're getting it before you need it, but do definitely make sure you need it. I really do suggest planning ahead in all the senses. If you're going to a certain university and plan on transferring over, do talk to your advisors as soon as you can. It is never a bad thing to ask questions. Always ask the questions that you need to, because that is what's gonna get you the answer. If you just stick around questioning, not knowing, and being confused and nervous, it's just gonna make it worse. You're just gonna get more stressed and more lost. So I always recommend going to advisors, talking to them as soon as you can, and making sure you have all your questions ready for them so that you can get it done and feel better in the process. Another thing is to use the time in between your classes or your time off as well as you can. What I'm saying is that a lot of people tend to wait last minute to do their homework, but if it's something easy, just get it out of the way now. So if you have the chance to use computers at your school and be able to access things like that, and you have a few minutes in between classes, I strongly recommend doing some of your work, or at least looking over some stuff, because it gets you ahead of the game. It takes off a load of stress and you're not wasting your time. But then again, also use that time to see your friends, meet new people, get to explore your campus, because there's a lot to do and a lot to see and a lot to relax. College is college and it's not high school anymore. We don't have to wake up super early unless you choose to. You're allowed to work because it's easier, you have more time. But yeah, it is stressful and it's a lot of work to do. It's very time consuming, especially depending on the courses you take and your general major. So saying that, you need to have your mind set on it's gonna be a lot of work, but you can do it. One thing that I learned from my first semester is that having a breakdown is fine. It's totally and 100% normal because it means that you are caring, that you care for what you want to do. And I had a breakdown on my very first day of college. It was my fall term, and it had to do with my books and my financial aid. But I had my friend there, on one of my Andreas, not the one that I've talked about before. But I had my friend and she was able to help me out and control me. But I think that that's just normal. It's a lot to take in, especially your first few weeks. It's just a lot. It's overwhelming. So it's fine if you feel stressed. It is fine if you feel homesick or all of that things, because in the end, breakdowns are fine. It's stressful. People will see you and they'll understand, because they did for me. I don't know if you guys ever want to hear about that, but it was dramatic. If you want to hear it, just comment down below, tell me. It was bad. Now, at my college, they gave us a planner. I think during orientation. So this is another thing. Not many people are good at planning or organizing, but I do strongly recommend that if you are provided something like a planner, which I have been, to at least try your best to start jogging down things, because there's so many classes and different things and it's hard to keep up with sometimes. But if you have it written down, it is easier to look at least for me. I am not one to remember things. I am very forgetful. I literally call myself Dory most of the time because I just cannot remember important things. So writing it down is a lot of help. I do recommend it to try at least. I would get about into like a few months of doing it on and off, and I'd do decent, but then I'd give it up. So I've been trying to stick to that more, and it's been helping me a lot because I know exactly what I have to do. I'm not surprised by things. And if you're not about a planner person, you can also do it on your phone. I've heard a lot of people work with that. My phone doesn't really help me as much, but it is helpful to have that reminder, because we live in a life of a bunch of stuff, a bunch of distractions, and a bunch of responsibilities. So it's understandable to forget some things. But yeah, I've only did one term and 1 week so far. So maybe after spring term ends, I can do an updated version and give you a little bit more, because obviously I'm still learning. I am not an expert whatsoever, but I do think that these are just things that some people just need to be told a few times, and you know, it's good to hear it, because sometimes we get so into the things we're doing that we forget about it. But thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I took a while to upload this one, but as I said, I've been working and I've been at school. So I wish you all the luck if you're still in high school and still doing your things, or if you're starting your new term, because we all need it. We all need that luck. So thanks so much for watching. Have a good term, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Guys, look at my setup. Dang, girl, dang. I'm up in the game. I'm better now. I can't promise you much though.